Hi everyone, it's Diane. I am going to be working on a couple of projects. I'm just kind of playing. Today's a play day for me. I showed in the previous video that Pirio had sent this to me from Germany. She hand felted the felt for this cover and made it pink for me because she knows pink is my favorite color, and she filled it with copy dyed papers with a little bit of embellishment. There's a pocket there, not Mrs. Edith Holden page there. And basically it is empty for me to fill up, and I didn't know what I wanted to do with it. I knew I wanted to do something special with it because she's special and because she hand felted this and made this just for me. So I got the idea that I wanted to preserve some of the images that I absolutely love from Mrs. Cogs. So I am going to use this as a design team project for Mrs. Cogs. I already had blue in the garden, and I asked Liz for pink in the garden and white in the garden. So I have those images printed and cut here. I had an extra. For some reason I got two of this page, so I just have that extra. Now all of the images won't fit in here. The pages are small and I might have to trim down some, but the larger images I'm not going to use in this journal. I'll use them for something else. But I found this cute little image of a girl. I think I'm going to take this off just so it doesn't clink on my glass mat here, make too much noise. I can put it on, put it back on when I'm done with it. It's got a pretty pink metal purse. I thought I would put this on the front and just cut off the word pink here and just use the words in the garden to title my book, but I'm not going to do that right now. I'm not going to do a lot in this right now. I just wanted to show you what my idea was. So I've got all these images and I have them arranged so that they alternate between pink and blue and white so that they're all spread out throughout the book. So see, this image, it fits on there, but I wanted to not just put the image down, I wanted to collage it with some other bits and pieces and laces and things. So I think I will just trim a little bit off of that. Let's see how we do with one page here today. I didn't take off much, just a little. And I brought over some of my fabric scraps and lace scraps. So I can play. This is from a vintage doll dress that somebody made and embroidered. It's got, oh sorry, that was loud. It's got layers here and I don't want all of those layers, so I'm just gonna trim some off. I can't cut that off because I would undo the embroidery if I did that. I want a little piece of blue, I think. Brought my pinking shears over too. So this is a like I said, it's a design team project, but I'm not going to complete it all quickly. This will just be a work in progress because I counted 36 pages. And I may not collage on every one because it might make the book too fat. I could just glue down some images without background stuff. And I could write poetry or quotes or things on some pages. I might have to do that. And I can use scraps of paper too, not just fabric. So here's my little bucket of my little paper scraps, and I've got some mulberry papers in here. I like that. That adds a nice touch to it. I don't know if you can, if that blue is showing up very well on the camera. I think that's enough for one page. So I brought my glue sticks over here. Things are melting here. Feels like spring. I hadn't been able to get out of my driveway since today's Friday. I hadn't been able to get out of my driveway since Monday when the snow came, because it wasn't like it was a lot of snow, but I didn't have to go anywhere for 2 days, and my driveway didn't get cleared out, and then it just iced over it. We had some sleet and melting and freezing weather, and so it was just, everything was covered in ice. And my driveway, I think that has a little bit too much glue there. Maybe I'll just put that down there. There's a incline to get into my driveway. My driveway's flat, but to get into it is an incline, and the snowplow comes through and plows up the end of my driveway, packs it right in there, and it's deep because of the incline, and I can't dig it out. There is no way that I can dig it out, and nobody came to help me, so I didn't go anywhere. My son had to come and get me I had to go to the post office and mail some stuff, and then I had to do something at church, and he was there too, so he came and got me, took me to the post office, and we went to the church and did what we had to do there. But today, it's melted enough that I was actually able to clear out the end of my driveway and get out, go to the bank, go to the post office to pick up my package that my mail carrier wouldn't leave here because he didn't knock on my door. He just left me a note, and I was so mad. Again, that's the third time. Third time he's done that. I'm right here and he doesn't knock on the door. All right, there's that first page. But anyway, the short version of this long story was that I got to get out of the house today and go do some errands. All right, I like that. And then, you know, I've got other images to do the same thing. Now this one is a little pocket. So what I could do is glue something to the back of this for journaling, tuck it in there, and maybe add some embellishment there. but it doesn't need too much. I'm just going to tuck that in there so I know what goes there. And this one is quite wide, so I can trim some of this off, but I would have all of this room to decorate. So that's what I'm going to be doing with that. And the other part of this video, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I've got a bunch of stuff over here. I am calling it Scrapistry, because what I really want to do this year is use up scraps and use up stash. So when I'm using scraps, I'm going to call it Scrapistry. I'm creating art. It's artistry with scraps. And when I'm using my stash of library cards or envelopes or whatever I have in my stash that I'm not using much of, I will call that Stashistry. So today's project is Scrapistry. I have this drawer full of scraps, manila file folders, dyed papers, just scraps of papers, and I have another container here full of coffee dye paper cutoffs from projects and things like that. And I have some stamps here, and I want to play. So I got all these new stamps. Well, not all of these, but these are not all the new stamps I got myself for Christmas. But I did show you the video of the stamps I got for Christmas. I did get a lot for myself. So I want to play with some of them. And I have my Tiffany & Co. stamp. I've had that for a little while, but I don't use it enough, so I want to make sure I use that. So, let's see what I have in my scrap bin. I know Tiffany, the color is blue. They're famous for their little blue boxes. But I want to stamp it on this pink. This is food coloring paper, I think. And there's a little bit of a doily there, so I'm going to stamp it on that. That looks pretty. I think I have room to do it twice. What I should have done is just do it here and then turn it into a little booklet. But instead I'll make two little journaling spots, or just embellishments, or these can be glued to the front of a pocket. Kind of got cut off a little bit there. So I'll just keep these in my stash, and when I need to decorate something, I could punch the corners or just glue them down to a pocket that I want to do. In fact, I'm going to do that right now. I'm just going to make pockets with my scraps. I have pieces of manila folder. This is coffee dyed, heavy, some kind of paper that's heavy, and it's coffee dyed. And I will probably sew this, but I'm not going to sew it today. Or not on this video anyway, because I'm not at my sewing machine. So yeah, I'll probably do some messy sewing, stitching around there, and then that will be either a card or a pocket. This one, do I want to use it because it got cut off? I think I will make an embellishment out of this. It's a large piece for an embellishment, but let's see. I'm going to try making another pocket out of it. This is a scrap. I should glue this and then sew it later, but if I glue it, at least I'll know what I was doing with it. This is the end of a vintage table runner or something. Looks like it was copy dyed, but it wasn't. It was just old. I probably shouldn't have done that till I sew around it, but I will sew around it. Okay, so for this one, put this here and this here, and a little scrap of lace. Just playing to see what looks good. Oh, that's not a scrap. That was in my scrap bin, but it's a little tiny envelope. Okay, that's kind of cute. have so many scraps, though, of everything that I'm going to need Scrapistry sessions every day of the year to make a dent in it. But I do love playing around with scraps and making collages. So I have 2 ready-made pockets as soon as I sew them. Okay, I have this piece, which is scrapbook paper. Looks like a Polaroid camera. Polaroid picture, I mean. An old one because there's a coffee stain on it. Now, what can I put in that frame? Let me look at my stamps here. I could put one of these ephemera ladies in the frame. Okay, so I am going to make a little bit of a background for her. What's this one? Oh, I'll use this. Stamp that in the background. What color do I want the background to be? Something light colored. So I think I'll do her in black or navy. So I'll do a light blue. I don't know if that's light enough. Let's try it out. Yeah, I think so. These Finnabair stamp sets are from Prima, in case you're wondering. I don't have a shortage of scraps here, that's for sure. Didn't stamp on there much at all. There. That's enough coverage, I guess. So this will be an ongoing series at least through 2019. Scrapistry and also Stashistry. They will both be ongoing. Maybe for the rest of my life. Because while I use up scraps and stash, I will be accumulating more scraps and probably stash. So I have my Midnight Muse, which is kind of a navy color. I'm sorry, I know I'm making a lot of noise here. she doesn't show up very much. I think my ink pad is not very good. It is a rather old, well, it shouldn't be too old, but it is not very wet. Yeah, I guess it is pretty old. I'm going to a Stampin' Up! Party tomorrow. Maybe I'll have to order another navy ink. But that's going to have to do for this one. She's very pale, but she's in there. I like that these sets come with words too. Art is good for you. Now is the right time. I'm going to use that one. Where'd it go? Wasn't it just there? I stamped down on it and picked it up with the black, and now it's gone. Wow. I'll use a different word then. I'll find it. That is weird. You probably saw it go flying somewhere, didn't you? Art is good for you. Now this stamp pad is very juicy. And I pressed down a little too hard, so it got pretty wet. I have a Stampin' Up! Stamp or ink pad that I really like for pale backgrounds. Soft suede, I think it's called. Yep, soft suede. This is one of the old felt pads. I'm gonna have to. Yep, that's dark enough. I have a little gear here. Okay, it's just a thin piece of scrapbook paper, but I'll sew it to something sturdier and make it into a journaling card, I think. Okay, what's next? That one didn't require any collaging except for the stamping. I collaged with my stamps. Alright, this is a stamped background that I made some time ago. And I must have cut off the part I needed. It was a large background stamp. So I'm going to trim the edges of this. And I will stamp something that I can mount to the front of it. Just looking through my stamps to see what I might want to put on the front of that. don't think anything that I've got down there. Well, if something doesn't pop out at me, I'll have to move on to something else. I like this stamp, and I don't think I've used it yet. It says Quiet the Worries. Let's just see what happens with her. I'm using the Stays on Black. I'm going to get my tag punch or my label punch. See if it'll fit in there. Shouldn't have cut off so much. So now I can't move it. Really all I wanted to cut off was enough to make it fit in there, but I cut off too much without thinking. So I'm poking it down in there to kind of try to center it. Oh boy. That won't fit in there. I think the problem is that part is too wide. It wouldn't go down any further. If I didn't want to waste time, I would just stamp it again and try a different paper. Guess I'll have to. But I'll use this one. Okay, I need something behind her. I hope this video isn't getting boring. I didn't know it would be taking me so long to do what I wanted to do here. We'll try that. And I'm going to around the corners. And ink the edges. Sorry. I'm going to color her a little bit. Boy, am I making a mess. I'm getting out everything today. What is this color? Ice blue. Oh, that's good. I like that color with the background paper. This one is tawny. It's darker than I thought it would be, but that's okay. Yeah, I like her. I didn't know I was going to be coloring today. Of course, like I said, I didn't know what I was going to be doing when I came over here. But if I clean up as I go as much as I can, it will help. Try to keep my workspace clear. I'm not very good at that. I always let things encroach on me. I can just use my glue stick here. Wasn't very straight. This is a little heavier, so I'm going to use my Scotch glue. That won't fit. Tried to put my glue stick cover on my Scotch glue bottle. Okay, time to call it quits for this video, and I only did 4 pieces, but that was fun though. I had a lot of fun doing that. I'm going to stop the video and come back for more, if you're willing. Bye.